Hey guys, welcome back. This segment we're going to talk about social situations that you're going to run into.
Okay, so Mike, kick us off here. Why is it so important for guys to learn, how to handle these social situations which can lead to bad eating?
Well, social situations, you're usually going to be either going out to eat, social events, things like that. And these events really just can't be avoided altogether. You may try to cut down on them sometimes, but you'll realize, we're social creatures, and we need to be around other people. And so many times, when you're in these social events, you're eating all these foods that are not going to help you get the six-pack abs you want. So you're going to have to learn what to do to deal with it, because you're going to be dealing with it for the rest of your life.
Yeah, definitely. And I mean, I think that a lot of the major nutritional disasters that guys have, a good amount of them come from social situations where even if they know the right things to eat, because they're feeling that social pressure, it's so strong that they can't resist, kind of betraying themselves and breaking their diet.
Yeah, and I always talk about, having a balance in your life, and that doesn't mean cutting out going out to eat or not having a social life. Once you know how to deal with the social situations that you run into, you have fun still. You still are social, and and you still get to live the way you want to live. You just have to kind of know how to deal with it, how to know how to plan ahead.
Yeah, exactly. We both go out, we both have a good time,
yeah.
But we also know how to have a good time without it being something which is gonna kill our bodies and kill our six-pack abs.
Right.
Okay, so let's talk about some of the types of social situations which can be very dangerous. What types of social situations should guys avoid if they can?
Well, number one thing is really hang out with people who are very unhealthy, who's very overweight, and just have bad eating habits. Because when you hang out with them, obviously they don't care about their health and about the way they look, and also about how to eat. So they're going to eat bad things, and if you're always around them, you're going to get influenced on eating those same foods. They may pick a restaurant that's just just to the point where nothing in there is just healthy. Everything is fried, and they don't care. They love it. So, you're always stuck in this, in the middle of, not wanting to do it, but just doing it anyways because, they're your friends. So, yeah, I mean, you want to go ahead and stay away from that. Or also stay away from situations to where you don't have an option to eat healthy foods. For example, let's say, if you go to like a fast food restaurant, it's pretty tough to try to find something healthy in there. Even salads are like high in calories. I mean, crap, what am I going to do, right? Just avoid going there altogether. If you really had to go out to eat, go somewhere where you can at least pick and choose and have a little more control over your foods.
Yeah, definitely. And I know, the mistake that I made at first was I'm like, I do what I'm going to do. I don't let the social pressure affect me. It's not going to make a difference. But I found out it really does. I mean, we have one friend who, when we go out to dinner, typically he'll order like a bunch of meals for the entire table.
Yeah.
And everybody just kind of takes from the meal. And a lot of these meals are very unhealthy. And you feel rude, refusing to eat the meals which you ordered for you. And they'll offer you the food and talk about how good it is. And you just feel really bad not doing it. But at the same time,
yeah, they're like, try it. Try it. It's good. It's good. Try it. Just try one. Don't be a pussy. Just try. You're like, oh, fine.
Yeah,
you try one. You're like, oh, crap. It is good. I taste all the oil and everything. So yeah. So just avoid it altogether, so you won't be in that situation.
Mm. Okay. So let's talk about some specific examples of damaging social situations. What are some bad ones which guys need to know how to deal with?
Well, kind of like what you said, not exactly, but something like a family style eating. Sometimes you go to restaurants and, they're served not to individuals, but they're served in one large portion and everybody kind of dig in. I realize a lot of times, where I grew up in an Asian culture, it's kind of like that. Nobody gets their individual steaks and potatoes. They got a whole big pot of rice and a big pot of this and that, and everybody digs in.
Or like the dim sum.
Yeah, or the dim sum. So in that case, you don't have control of what you eat, so you're at the mercy of whoever is ordering. And a lot of times, again, if you're hanging out with unhealthy people, they're going to order the most unhealthy stuff. That's the reason why they're where they're at. So.
And actually, most of the time, the person who's ordering is usually the biggest kind of a restaurant connoisseur of the group. And unfortunately, the way that works out is the person who's the biggest restaurant connoisseur is going to be, the most unhealthy and overweight.
Yeah. Another one would be work-related situations, to where you may be hanging out with buddies after work. Y'all may be going to happy hours all the time, where they got half-off appetizers, and $2 beers or something. You know, I mean, those get really tough. Those get really tough because they're your coworkers. You know, in your mind you're thinking, well, I'm building rapport more for work. This is kind of work related. You know, even though you're off. So that's really tough. Holiday parties.
Yeah.
You know, there's tons of food. People are drinking all the time. You know, that's really tough to get away. Especially when, what do people say on holidays? It's the holidays. You know, the Christmas only happens once a year. Well, yeah, that's true. But you know what? It's going to happen next year. And then what about Easter? And what about Thanksgiving? And what about Valentine's? And what about your birthday? And his birthday? And his birthday?
Yeah.
And his going away. I mean, it goes on and on when you really calculate, like, you know, how many gatherings or how many parties you actually cannot miss throughout the year. You realize, man, I'm slammed with all of this. You know, I mean, it's not as important as you think. I think another one that has to do with holidays is family gatherings.
Yeah.
You know, everybody kind of has that aunt or that mom or that relative that, you know, that really loves to cook. She probably or he probably runs the cooking in the kitchen, and you know, and they take pride in what they make. So if you go in there and you don't want to eat the food, that's pretty much like a slap in the face. You know, they crave like hours and hours. My mom always tells me, and she's like, she'll tell me details of like how she cooked the foods and how she woke up like a few hours early to,
Yeah.
and you're like, wow, you know, and so you got to try the food and you got to eat a good amount, and that's really tough, you know, because a lot of times it's not the best. Or you ever have friends? I have friends sometimes that call me and they're like, "Oh man, you know, I feel like eating something crazy. Let's do it. You know, let's go to a buffet and just kill it and just, you know, go through 4, 5, 6 plates. You know, those are sometimes situations you may run into, and you want to say no on that one. There is absolutely no way you're ever going to come out of there without, you know, by trying to eat healthy. You know, not when you got guys like that.
I actually remember when I was in college, you know, me and some of my friends would actually go to the dining hall and have a contest to see who could eat the most plates. It was just the worst possible social situation you could ever be in.
I had that too.
Yeah.
I've won a lot of those, by the way, which I don't even do anymore, you know, so yeah. Another one would be late night eating. You know, when you're hungry and you're out, sometimes it could be from leaving a bar or club, or just maybe you couldn't sleep. But you'll find that sleeping has a lot to do with your appetite, and when it's really late at night, you tend to not stick with, you know, your normal eating habits. You tend to just kind of eat what you literally crave. You know, your body's going to send out different hormones and stuff, and you're going to just crave certain foods. Try to stay away from that. That kind of ties into, well, if you get enough sleep and you regulate your sleep the right way, you're not going to run into, you know, that 2 a.m., 3 a.m., 4 a.m., you know, eating. That's really not very good. Couples, if you have a girlfriend, if you're married, wife, you know, what do couples do? Dinner, movies,
Where they get popcorn and
yeah,
Skittles and
yeah, you know, like if you take a girl out to the movies. And she's like, hey, let's get some food, let's get some popcorn and some nachos. What are you gonna say? Oh, no, that's unhealthy. I mean, she's gonna look at you like a wuss, or she's gonna be like, what? You don't want to spend $20 on my popcorn? And so yeah, that's a tough one. That's a tough one. It's one of those all around, you know, dinner, movies. That's what everybody does. So you got to find a way to overcome that. You know, I think another one is just maybe going to someone's house, a friend's house, a relative house, and that person doesn't have anything healthy to eat, and you may have to hang out there for the whole day or maybe even longer. Well, you're pretty much stuck too. So these are some of the things you may relate to or run into, at least one or two. So yeah, we gotta talk about a lot of solutions here.
Yeah,
because this would totally destroy their diet and totally destroy their ever getting a lean physique or having six-pack abs at all.
Yeah, definitely. Okay, so first of all, let's talk about kind of some short-term strategies that guys can use. If a guy was to find himself in one of these bad situations, what are a few examples of strategies he could use to kind of minimize the damage?
Well, let's talk about some more short-term strategies, because you know, you may be probably running into these things right now as we speak. So some of the short-term strategies is try to avoid these family-style restaurants where they serve in large portions, everybody dig in type of places, or even buffets. You're not going to get anything out of that. You know, hey, when it's free food, it's really hard to say no, and buffets are kind of along the same lines. You know, you can eat all you can. So try to always order your own food. And you can do two things when you're in a restaurant. You can either look for the healthiest foods and then just order that, or if somehow you can't find the healthiest foods, or somebody really insists on you trying this plate out, eat a smaller portion. So this way, even if you are consuming bad calories and all the addictive foods and stuff like that, at least it's in a smaller portion and it's not as bad. And don't take anything to go. I found that you may think, hey, I'm wasting the food because I don't take it, but you know what? If you take it, all you're gonna do is eat it when you get home, and it's just gonna cause all these other problems. So if you don't take it, you know that at least the bad food is left at the restaurant table, or hey, give it to somebody else.